Отак от, який хороший хлопчик. Поки немає бутилочки, то Буранчик смокче мені руку. Тут уже сліди остаються від його носика.
Buranchyk, the little deer who chose love.
Ух ти. Що це за фіртулі такі ти виписуєш?
It began with a small, trembling cry in the forest. One chilly afternoon, Yuliya walked the quiet woods near her home, a basket on her arm and wet leaves under her boots. Between the birches, she spotted two tiny shapes pressed into the ground. They were fawns, legs unsteady, breaths shallow, spots bright on damp fur. Their mother was nowhere in sight.
Яке в них гарне, яке гарне в них забарвлення. Ходять за мною, як за мамою.
Yuliya waited, keeping her distance and hoping a gentle figure would step from the shadows and claim them. Minutes grew heavy, the light thinned, and the air cooled. No doe appeared. The fawns tried to rise, wobbling like reeds, then folded again in exhaustion. She could not leave them.
Як він любить на ручках сидіти, такий гарний хлопчик. Як він любить, коли його чухають. Як бачите, ледве тримались на ногах. Почався довгий процес виходжування Буранчика.
With careful hands, Yuliya lifted both babies and carried them home. She wasn't a veterinarian, just an ordinary woman, but she was determined to give them a chance. She called a vet, learned the schedule, bought formula, and set alarms through the night. Between bottles and warm towels, she whispered that they were safe.
Привіт! Ну? Ну?
Despite the care, one life faded. The small sister slipped away like a candle at dawn, and Yuliya cried where the fawns could not see. The remaining brother, fragile yet stubborn, kept fighting. She named him Buranchyk.
Іди, хороший, іди їсти. Вечеря. Ану, давай. Ану, давай, біжи. Біжи, біжи, диви, що є. Отак. Отак, мій хороший, він на ручки сам прийшов. Ух ти, боже мій.
From the beginning, he clung to her voice. When Yuliya called, "Buranchyk, come here," his ears flicked, and he bounded forward with a joy that made people smile. He tucked himself into her lap and loved the warmth of her arms and the scratch behind his ears.
Не Буранчик, а кошенятко. Так любить сидіти на ручках. Ходить, пищить, просить, щоб його брали. А на ручках почуває себе прекрасно.
As weeks passed, strength returned. Buranchyk learned the house like a mischievous child. Soft rugs for napping, doorways for quick escapes. The tall mirror that held two deer instead of one. Startled by his reflection, he leapt onto Yuliya's bed and sank into the blankets with a sigh. A wild deer, nestled in human arms, who could have imagined it? Yuliya laughed and let him stay.
Довелося його вже й покласти на вечірній сон. Не буду ж його проганяти. Рижий на все согласний. Рижий, ти в шоці з такої породи котів, да?
Day by day, he grew into his legs. He followed Yuliya from porch to garden, a spotted shadow at her heels. When she sat on the steps, he pressed his forehead to her shoulder and closed his eyes. Some said he returned for food, but they didn't see the way he listened, the way he chose her again and again whenever the door opened.
По-моєму, Саша, ти останешся без косічки. Буран буде вечеря твоєю косічкою.
Yuliya worried about her other animals. Would they accept him? Buranchyk surprised them all. Gentle and steady, he became the calm center of the group. When a new creature trembled at the threshold, he was the first to nuzzle and show that the house held only kindness.
Буся, ну не трогай Буранчикове вухо.
Still, Yuliya kept her promise to the wild. She taught Buranchyk the tastes of forest food, the caution of fences, the sense of wind. On cool mornings, she led him to the edge of the trees and waited while he listened to leaves speaking softly. He learned the hush before rain and the plain lesson of waiting.
Він звик їсти тільки в одному місці. У садочку, де гуляв, їсти не захотів.
There were messy moments. He dashed through rooms and once tried to taste a sweater. He learned that curtains aren't meadows. Yet the scolds never lasted. He would nudge her palm, and Yuliya would sigh, forgive him, and scratch the spot he loved most.
Буранчик проситься дуже в хату, але в нього грязні копитця. Я намочила ось тряпочку, витираю копитця Буранчику, щоб він із чистими ніжками зайшов у хату, бо зразу ж першим ділом він буде пригати на ліжко.
Over time, independence tugged at him. He explored the yard, then the field, then the first thin row of trees. He always came back to the porch at dusk and the familiar creak of the door. Yuliya knew the day would come when the forest called him farther than her voice could reach. That was the hope she raised him for. Not to keep him, but to make keeping unnecessary.
Це щось новеньке.
Some people shook their heads. He only returns for treats, they said, but the truth shone in his eyes. He didn't come back for apples or oats. He came back for Yuliya, for the hands that warmed him, for the voice that carried him through long nights, for the love that asked nothing in return. Watching them, one understands that rescue is not a single act but many small choices. A bottle at 2 a.m., a blanket warmed in the dryer, a decision to stay when leaving would be easier. It is grief for the little sister who could not remain, and gratitude for the brother who did. It is the belief that tenderness can mend what fear breaks.
Він тебе вмиває. Чого ти не вмивалась? Непорядок.
Soon, when he is ready, Buranchyk will live the life that was always his, a road of dew and shadow, a herd that accepts him, a forest that remembers his small, brave steps. Until that day, he remains where he began again, in the circle of Yuliya's care, learning how to be wild without forgetting how to be loved.
Ти що, Буранчика охороняєш?
If this story moved you, please consider leaving a like or subscribing. Sharing it helps more people see how ordinary kindness becomes extraordinary rescue, and it helps voices like Yuliya's and small hearts like Buranchyks find the support they deserve. If you are rescuing or considering adopting a wild or exotic animal, please contact professionals and do careful research. Every creature deserves not just survival, but the best possible life.
Our team works hard behind the scenes to find and share real-life stories that truly matter. Every video is crafted with care, carefully researched, edited with trusted sources, and always treated with the respect these stories deserve. What you see isn't just made to inspire, it's meant to be real and meaningful.